Hello, this is a video representation of the way that I utilize a notebook while I was buying a new car. To keep the video relatively short, I'm going to try not to go into too much detail about things that I've already described in the blog. So the first part of this is you already have your notes. If you've read the blog, you know that I'm very adamant about having notes. So you have notes also already written on your notebook before you go. And the three main things that I think you should have, you could have anything you want, but the main things I think you should have are three different prices. One of them is going to be the invoice price of the car, one of them is going to be the manufacturer suggested retail price of the car, and the other one is going to be an average price that buyers in the region are recently paying for the vehicle you're looking for. And you can just find that online. If you use any search engine, you can find it. And the reason you want those written down is because they're easy to forget. You want to have a quick reference to those prices that you're going to be using to negotiate the price of your car. The second thing is while you're sitting there, you're talking to the dealer and say, I'm sitting here and I'm the customer and my computer is the dealer and he's saying things, I want to write them down. Well, what I did was I did not write down the things that they were saying right away. And one of the reasons I did this was because I didn't necessarily want him to know what I was writing. Another reason is I just wanted to listen to the rest of what he said. I didn't want him to be able to sneak anything in while I was writing notes. This brings me to the next part. I'd be writing in my notebook, right? And then I keep it somewhere where I could casually just rest my hand on it, like this. Or maybe I'm actively listening, like this. And then they say something and I say, oh, okay. And I write something down. And then I just go back to this position. And as you can see, it's hard to see my notes. Because again, I don't want him to be able to just see exactly what I'm writing down, because it might influence the things that he says. Let's say that I have my notes out, even if they're out. I also did a thing where I made my notes very disorganized, and I used a lot of just numbers and arrows and acronyms because I didn't want my notes to be very easily deciphered upside down. These are the actual notes. This is the note page that I used to purchase my last vehicle. And as you can see, they're kind of all over the place. And I think that is the best method to write them in. And then the last thing kind of goes along with this is I kept a separate page of notes, usually in my car or at home. And if there were things that I wrote down here, let's say I went to another dealership and I got some numbers and some information from them, and I didn't want the last dealership to see what I wrote down when I went back, as I would go and write them on my separate notes, my invisible notes, and then I'd scratch it out. And that's what these scratch marks are. Those are things that I didn't want the original dealership to see, but I had them still in my notes in the car. That was just a quick overview of how to sit and use your notebook while you're at the dealership. Hopefully it was helpful, and have a good day.